Hail to the... Oh, no, I meant hello, and welcome to Pokemon Masters Council.
House!
Yes. To the house! To the house! House! To the house! For anyone wondering, we are Michigan fans.
Welcome to Pokemon Masters Council.
Okay, let's talk about Pokemon first. Or for the whole thing.
No, welcome. I'm Gym Leader Justin.
I'm Zero.
This is podcast episode 38.
38.
Holy cow.
I really hope it's episode 38 because that's what I put on the top. Talk to the people while I verify.
So, last time that we had a podcast, till now, we have doubled our subscribers.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for everyone for checking us out. That has to be the first thing we say is, thank you for checking out the channel. Thank you for clicking on this podcast. We're not going anywhere. Thank you for clicking on anything, getting the thumbs up, dropping a comment, everything. Welcome to the new subscribers. You guys are killing it, and we are so thankful. Like, can't say it enough. It sounds cheesy and dumb, but like when you guys tune in and subscribe and leave comments and leave likes, it feels good to us. It makes us feel like you enjoy what we're doing. It makes us want to do it more. Like, the motivation's at an all-time high.
Share the video with your friends. Make sure you, for anybody out there, new or old, coming in here, we want to make sure that you remind you to go...
To the socials?
Yeah, we want to remind you to go out to the socials. Go check out our Twitter. We're going to be posting stuff over there a lot.
Please.
We also do have a Facebook and an Instagram. Definitely check out, if you're listening to this on Spotify, go check out our YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, check out our Spotify where you can listen to our podcast. And we also put up other shows that are Spotify exclusive content. We call that the extracurricular. So, basically, the big thing that we want to talk about is the fact that, if you do appreciate our content, like he said, subscribe, like these videos, but also share the videos with your friends or anybody else that you think that they would like it, and have them check it out too.
Share it with whatever Pokemon communities you're in.
Absolutely.
If you're on a Reddit page, well, I mean, they don't really let you.
Yeah, if you have a local Pokemon group like us, like we do in Grand Rapids, share it throughout there. So we appreciate it. So host hobbies, as we did with our intro, obviously, it's really big here. We live in Grand Rapids, so we're on the other side of the state from
Ann
Arbor, but we are U of M fans. We're not state fans.
No.
So it's Big Ten rivalry, college football for people that don't understand. For people outside of U.S. American football, this is the Big Ten rivalry. It's basically all of the Midwestern teams. There's 10 of them. It's like
there's more now.
Yeah, but that's the. There's
gonna
back
be
in
like,
my day.
Yeah, there's gonna be like 16 or something crazy like that.
Yeah, the Big Ten rivalry is what it was called, and basically the biggest rivalry probably
in sports,
probably in sports on the planet.
Yeah,
and then we're not even joking. I understand that soccer or football for the rest of the world. I understand that that's crazy huge. I get it, and I know about it. Like I get it. For all of our international fans,
as far as
you
the
have
world
to understand,
that
between Michigan and Ohio State is one of, if not the top most sports rivalry on the planet, even professional sports. So This is crazy for us, and we have been getting whooped for 20 years.
Yeah.
And we finally did it! Michigan won. University of Michigan. So Michigan Wolverines, for people that don't know, versus the Ohio State Buckeyes. Ohio State Buckeyes normally win. I have family that half my family's in Michigan, half of them's in Ohio. So half of that family is always talking smack up here because, they're always winning. And now, crickets, we won!
Yeah, buddy. This is the first time in it's, I want to say maybe in like 20 years or something like that.
I think it was 94?
96? We've won 2 games in a row. It's been like 20 years or something like that against those guys. So, we take those small victories. It was a huge victory.
It was a huge victory. It was a great game, too. It was so exciting.
The second half was the greatest half of Michigan football
ever
played. Ever. It
was just... So,
what else? Enough of the sports.
We've been grinding through Gen 9. Your kid had a birthday. Mm-hmm. You're changing jobs. Mm-hmm. I just moved. Mm-hmm. So, we're this close. Doug's already finished with the game. Brandon basically just finished. I'm right there at like the last thing, and I think Mike is just about done too. So in 2 weeks since it came out, we're basically all completed with the story, as well as, you know, we all have lives and jobs and full-time stuff going on. But we were able to finish all that up. It's been a lot of fun to explore and have fun with the glitches and stuff
the glitches have been amazing. I do have one that maybe I'll post on.
Dude.
I'll post it on Twitter or something. Go follow us on Twitter.
Instagram.
Literally the first 10 minutes of me playing the game.
It's so funny.
I had a glitch in my backyard.
It was so funny.
Anyway.
So if you're watching this on YouTube or if you're listening to it on Spotify, we want to plug a few things. In terms of news, they're basically in the Pokemon world, the biggest news is just there's been a lot of things going around about just competitive Pokemon, like how to breed and how to do raids and the Eevee event and then the Charizard event and stuff like that. So basically just keep your ear to the ground. Everything in the Pokemon world is just kind of crazy right now, but there's nothing that's like huge news. So we just want to remind everybody, we have been doing a lot of the how to use guides.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've also been doing a couple of battle videos. We put out a couple of battle videos for 3v3 battle
3v3.
stadiums.
Yep, we did battle stadiums, singles.
We're practicing because ranked cartridge comes out soon.
Yes, sometime in December.
And then we also have put out our first VGC battle video this week.
Yep.
Featuring my my go-to squad right now, my grassy terrain squad.
Petal Blizzard, Meowscarada.
Oh my gosh, it wipes the floor.
Sap Sipper Gudra.
Yeah, dude.
Very cool squad. And then you've got the Arboliva to
She's so
hit
good.
that with Petal Blizzard, prop some grassy terrain, and then you'll get some boosted Arboliva.
And you boost the Arboliva.
Giga Drain or whatever.
And she takes 0 damage from the Petal Blizzard.
Yeah.
Even with the Life Orb, you could choice ban the cat, it doesn't matter. You could Swords Dance, Baton Pass to it. Like, that cat could be, like, belly drummed up to max, and the Arboliva is still just going to be yeek. So,
this does remind me
Arboliva's very
slash
tanky.
us. We will probably be doing. We'll probably do some rental squads while we make our own team because we really want to make cartridge footage. If you have any Heat squads, VGC or Battle Stadium singles, send them to us somehow.
Yeah.
Message us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
Tweet us.
Tweet
us
let us know.
At Pokes_Council and let us know your favorite rental squads right now. I gotta let you know, you already know, but I gotta let the fans know, I got my eye on, one of my favorite Pokemon, probably my #1 favorite Pokemon this generation.
Grafaiai?
The monkey!
Yeah.
He's got a little hood. He's got a little hoodie with his hair sticking out. Oh, yeah, dude. So, he just featured Aaron Cybertron Zhang, just featured him using a combo that we were actually talking about in theory, crafting when the thing came out, was with a big Hoenn rep, another big monkey, it's a sloth, but big monkey, Slacking. So you doodle in that combo. So we'll talk about that. That's probably going to be one that I want to rent, and we probably are going to do a battle video on that.
Maybe we'll do that after this. Who knows?
So that's a big one. That's a +1. Go check him out. Lazarus, I think, is his name on Twitch. Go check him out because he has all kinds of really, really... He's one of like the most creative list writers that I know of.
Yep.
I really take inspiration from how he writes teams, and he has a bunch of rental codes on his channel right now that I think are all live. And once you have them until forever. You just keep them in your game. So
send us some teams. We'll use them. We'll shout you out if it's a homemade team.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, we'll use it. We'll shout you out. But I think that brings us into our main topic. I think we've kind of
there's
chitter-chattered enough. I think it's time to talk about our main topic.
Nice little preamble.
Yeah.
But basically, the main topic today is we're going to be picking out the main contenders, the main heavy hitters. Who's that Rocky?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. The main online
Who's the Creeds?
threats.
Who's the Rocky? Who's the big guy entering the locker room? Like, who's the big threats? Whether it's 3v3, VGC, that's primarily what we're going to be talking about, obviously, for this channel. We want to be doing cartridge stuff. We're preparing for the cartridge meta. So, in that context, like, what mons are relevant? What mons have we been seeing a lot?
Mm-hmm.
And what mons have we been seeing that are, like, tough to deal with? And then kind of also how to deal with them. So, like, when you see X, you can expect it to have, and you do this. And that's sort of how we want to phrase this conversation, right?
Yeah.
So, out the gate, I've been having a lot of fun. We've been playing a bunch of Showdown.
Yep.
Showdown has now had the Battle Stadium doubles and singles, so you can basically practice VGC or 3v3 on cartridge on their simulator. So
it has to be said, these are unofficial because there is no official rule set.
Correct. Yet. It's unofficial, but it's just for practice to try to get to use the new stuff.
But everything is allowed except Miraidon and Koraidon right now.
Correct. They're the only two that are banned.
Yes.
And I think it's fair so far.
Yeah, I think so.
Like, in terms of, like, learning what we're going to do and blah, blah, blah.
I've got thoughts on the overall meta right now and how it affects certain Pokemon, but
in the first 2 weeks, we've been between... That's probably one of the reasons that, like, we haven't done as much in the actual cartridge game yet, is because we've been splitting our time with the Showdown. We've been battling and practicing. Yeah. Doug's been putting a lot of work in 3v3. You've been doing 3v3 as well. I've been doing a lot of the VGC. We've got one of every weather team, and then my main grassy terrain that you've seen on there. So been grinding that out, and it's been a lot of fun. So basically, Zero, from the top, I'm going to ask you, because the only 3v3 that I've played, I haven't played a single game of 3v3 on my own. It's all been with you or Doug.
Yeah, you've been watching our replays and playing with us.
The only games that I've been playing are VGC so far. So who's like, give me a list of like a couple of the top mons from 3v3.
So I'll give you a Pokemon.
And maybe like give me like an overview, and then we'll break down like what they do or like what's the big.
So I'll talk about a certain certain things that I'm noticing right now.
Yeah.
I'll talk about like the meta overall really quick. Just give me a couple minutes here. Dragons are better than they ever have been.
Yep.
Because they can Terra out of Dragon,
and while still keeping the Stab Dragon.
Well, if they want it.
Yeah.
Now they all have access to Stab Poison or Stab Steel, which is very popular. Is Terra Steel.
I've been doing Steel. I do Steel on Garchomp and Baxcalibur.
Ghosts are really strong right now.
Yeah, ghosts are always really good.
Ghosts are incredibly strong. Terraing into a ghost is incredibly popular. Dark is strong.
Terra Fairy is popular.
The
Terra Fairy for the new like dark Tapus.
I think we had talked at one point. I don't know if we did this on camera or not. There is a little pin. There's a wheel of types that are ruling the metagame that we predicted we're going to. And it has come to fruition, and that is Dragon, Fairy, Steel, Poison, Ghost, and Dark. Those are the types that are relevant right now.
And then anything that beats those is like the A tier. That's like S and S minus, and then anything that fighting takes care of that. Ground takes care of that. Ice takes care of that. That all these things that hit up into that or resist that, those are like those A tier marks.
I'm noticing certain things.
Fire's real good. Like the starter types.
I'm actually noticing in 3v3. Fire's bad. Fire's bad, and water's bad.
That is completely the opposite in VGC. Fire is top dog.
Fire and water are not great. I'm having a hard time endgaming with fire Pokemon. Like, it's easy to do with Cerule Edge because Cerule Edge is part Ghost.
Yeah. And
you can tear that into fighting and lose that Ghost weakness. So I'm finding that some of those core types are not that great in 3v3. So your fires, your waters, your grass. Well, grass is all right. Ironically enough, grass is all right because of Ting-Lu.
Yep.
And also the Dolphin.
Yep, the Dolphin's great. Palafin is a derpy design, but wow, does that thing hit hard.
Electric is not amazing right now because of things like Ting-Lu and Breloom and stuff. So that is one thing. I've noticed that dragons are really strong.
Yep.
And then we listed out those types that are really strong. And so now I'll talk about some Pokemon in specific and their strategies and what's good about them.
Yeah, dude.
First and foremost, I hate to say this.
Yes! We're starting with a Hoenn Rat, baby!
I hate to say this, but Breloom is so good right now.
Breloom.
And it hurts my soul to say that because I hate that Pokemon.
I love Breloom. He's the derpiest kangaroo, but he's technically, I think, supposed to be a kangaroo. But yeah, he's great. He's really impressive.
Yes. He's, in my opinion, he's the strongest lead
baby.
in the format right now with a Focus Sash. You get Focus Sash plus Spore.
Yep.
He's got a really strong dual stab combination. Like I mentioned, Grass is all right. Fighting's pretty good.
And he's a really good matchup into what used to be one of the best leads in 8th gen format, which was Rotom Wash.
Yeah.
He's a great lead into Rotom Wash. He'll destroy a Rotom Wash.
The only thing he has to worry about with Rotom Wash is the Will-O-Wisp.
The Will-O-Wisp or the Thunder Wave, yeah.
Focus Sash and Spore, like your biggest counterplay is a Safety Goggles or a Grass-type Pokemon. Mm-hmm. And some of the best Grass-type Pokemon
You're not seeing Scarf? That would have been my guess.
No, not really, because they want to be able to use
Switch around.
Skill Link. So they want to be able to use a Technician, Bullet Seed, and Mach Punch.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing a lot of Sash. It's very
Focus
strong.
Sash Spore.
Focus Sash Spore to start the game.
Yep.
Safety Goggles and Grass Pokemon.
Oh, Safety Goggles.
The problem with running a Grass Pokemon is
Safety Goggles for the people.
Yeah, Safety Goggles makes you immune to Powder type moves. So
specifically Powder moves. So
yeah,
if it says Powder in the name or Spore, basically that's what you need to know. So if it literally says the word Powder, or if it's Spore move.
The problem with running Grass Pokemon right now is that the best Grass Pokemon in the format is also part Dark, and that would be Meowscarada. So Meowscarada does not match up incredibly well in a 1v1 situation, because they will get the Mach Punch off before you Protean into a Fairy or whatever.
Yeah. And then, in terms of tankiness, I don't know how prevalent it is, but in terms of what's in the meta or in the available, we do have access to either Amoonguss or Paradox Amoonguss, which is Brute Bonnet. Brute Bonnet is, again, part Dark, but he's very tanky. And then Amoonguss is actually really tanky, but he's more tanky on the special side, so it's not the greatest matchup. But yeah.
Moving on, Dragapult once again very strong, very strong. Usually tears into a Ghost. Like I said, dragons are really strong right now. It can run Scarf. Anything with Dragon Dance right now, if you can get off a Dragon Dance and do it without taking a lot of damage, that is really, really strong and really, really valuable in the 3v3 format right now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like I said, usually Terra Ghost, sometimes can go Terra Steel, but I see
You see Dragon Dart? Do you see physical?
I see physical the most. Okay. I see physical because it's got clear body.
Infiltrator or all clear body for the Intimidate.
I do see Infiltrator. I did have a sub Chi-Yu one time. I thought I had the game in the bag, and they still Thunder Waved me through the sub, and then I kind of...
Let's go.
So, Dragapult's very good. Still has an amazing speed tier, and it can Terra out of being weak to things like Sucker Punch.
Yeah, he's like he is the premier speed guy that we calc everything against.
Right, yeah. It's kind of like
when we make a set, we're like, hey, this can when you do this, this, and this, you can outspeed Dragapult.
Yep. The next Pokemon, this one's not a surprise as well. It is also a Ghost. Mimikyu. Mimikyu is stronger than ever right now because in a format where turns are so valuable, this Pokemon gets a Swords Dance,
for free.
It's almost guaranteed that they're going to SD in your face.
You have to be prepared for Mimikyu. And what's the best way to deal with Mimikyu?
Mold Breaker.
Mold Breaker. Why? Tell the people what's going on here. So Mimikyu has a special, unique ability.
Okay, so Mimikyu's got Disguise. It basically doesn't take. Okay, it can take damage like Chip.
Correct. It'll get burn. Hit. Yeah.
But when you hit it with an attack, it only takes an eighth of its HP, a fourth. It'll lose that much, chunk, and then its head falls off, and then
you break its disguise. It basically has you know how when you live on a Focus Sash, it has that, but at the beginning of its health bar.
Right.
So you have to break its disguise before you can actually hit it and kill it. So he gets a free turn to set up at 90% HP. So he just Swords Dances the first turn he's out on the field.
And he's fast.
And he's really 95 speed.
Dual stab combination's insane.
Ghost and Fairy.
And you can Terra into whatever you want if you're...
He gets great moves. He gets Will-O-Wisp, obviously being a Ghost. He gets Play Rough. He also gets Shadow Sneak as priority with...
Yep.
So you can go Ghost Terra. Have you been seeing that?
Yes.
To boost up the priority of Shadow Sneak, or boost the power of Shadow Sneak.
Yep.
And then on top of that, so Mold Breaker obviously makes you ignore their abilities when you attack them.
Yeah.
So something like Tinkaton.
Yep.
He can just attack, and it goes right through this guy. So you just one-shot him regardless.
They never run Sash.
They never run Sash because they have... Yeah.
So Tinkaton, that's a good shout. There's not a lot of good Mold Breaker Pokemon at the moment.
The reason you don't run Sash is because your disguise chips a little bit of your health.
Yeah.
It used to not.
I miss Excadrill.
yeah, Excadrill, rip.
So, continuing on this trend...
Hey, look!
We've got a new Giga Chad in the chat, and his name...
A new ghost.
Is Goldengo, or Goldengo, whatever you want to say.
Goldengo.
Steel Ghost, one of the most insane stab combinations.
It's insane.
They usually steal Terra or Terra normal.
Yep. I've been seeing Steel on my end.
I see Steel more than anything. I do see normal, so you don't take the ghost hits. I think Steel's a little better because no one's ever going to throw a fighting move into a ghost Steel.
Yeah.
You'd have to have, like...
Not the first turn, but once you do, that's the weakness, is that now you're weak to... Because he's weak on the physical side, so you can now just body press him with any of your tanks.
But that's the problem. By the time he Terras, it's too late. It's too late. He's already hit you with the Make It Rain, which is 110, 120 base Steel.
The beautiful thing for the Goldengo is that when he Terras Steel... he gets out of being weak to two of the best priority moves in the game in Shadow Sneak and Sucker Punch. Because the Sucker Punch is base 80. And when we're doing calcs, like, for instance, Meowscarada, or what else did we say? The Brute Bonnet. Great Sucker Punch user. These Pokemon, what did we just calc the other day?
Grimmsnarl.
Grimmsnarl's Stab Sucker Punch can just one-shot a Goldengo.
Yeah.
Just raw.
Yeah.
So, Goldengo's very weak to Sucker Punch. Insanely weak to Sucker Punch. So that's, in my opinion, why you don't see them terraing into the Ghost and out of it, rather.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
I think so,
But it then opens the door for him, to, if he's Steel or Normal...
to be hit by fighting moves.
There we go. And Mach Punch exists. So, it's a trade. But for me, base 40 versus base 80.
Yep.
So I'm going to go with the Mach Punch. So I'm going to take Terra Steel.
They're almost always scarfed as well. He's got a pretty solid speed at 82, I believe. 84, maybe?
I think it was 87.
It's 80 something.
It's in the 80s.
It's good. It's a good speed tier to be a scarf Pokemon.
Like a Heracross speed.
And it also has
130.
It's also got 130 special attack,
which is Gengar level.
It's almost Alakazam. Better stab combination than Gengar.
Way better.
And
better ability.
The best ability ever put into the game.
He's immune to status moves. And it's not status conditions. There are 3 categories of moves in Pokemon. There's physical, special, and status moves. He's immune to this entire category. That means you can't use Leer, you can't use Scary Face, you can't use Thunder Wave, you can't use Will-O-Wisp, you can't use Parting Shot.
Can't use Taunt.
Can't use Taunt.
Torment, whatever it may be.
He's immune to those Leech Seed. Yeah. You can't use Strength Sap.
Eerie Impulse.
You can't use any of these moves on him. He's immune to everything unless it's an actual attack move.
Yeah. So, like, you want to lower his special attack, you have to hit him with Snarl.
You have to actually hit him.
Yeah. So, insane ability, insane
stats. If he wants to sub, you, like...
What do? If you can't taunt him. You have to swing at him every time. You always have to swing.
You have to swing. So, it puts you in a different spot than...
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times, especially now in VGC, especially, like, Prankster Parting Shot is everywhere.
Right.
And he's immune to it.
Yep. Completely immune. So
on top of the fact there's so many new Darkmons, it's already hard enough.
So I got 2 more for 3v3s, and then we're going to take a little break, and we're going to talk on the VGC
assuming
side.
The last 2, one of them has to be a Dragon type.
They're both Dragon types.
Hey! Dragon and Ghost. Yep. Dragon and Ghost, baby.
So, Dragonite.
Oh,
this one
top
I'm
3.
happy about. This one I'm happy about. I'm happy about this one, and I haven't tried it yet.
I've been making one prediction since before 9th Gen. This has been my hot take since I've been on this train for a while.
Yes.
When we first heard about the Terras, and we heard about the double dip, and I was like, or not even just the double dip, but the fact that we could Terra into different types and get that stab, or the double dip. What's been like my hot take for the offensive viability? Like what's been my like #1 go-to?
Priority moves.
And what priority move does Dragonite get?
Extreme speed.
Oh, people are Terra normal, aren't they?
They're Terra normal.
Yeah! So that's so broken.
Terra normal. They usually run heavy duty boots.
Yeah.
They Terra normal immediately, so they don't get. They keep the.
Are hazards common over there right now?
No.
Why do they run the boots just in case?
Just in case.
Because he has multi-scale.
Hazards are not as viable because turns in 3v3 are so valuable.
You can't waste
Sometimes you can't waste them setting up hazards. Sometimes, like, getting off a DD in 3v3 is actually kind of hard. Unless you're up against something super passive like...
or a tank mon.
You know, it's even... Yeah, it depends on the mon.
You'd have to... The RNG of your opponent getting a bad lead. If they get their lead wrong, then you can set up. Yeah. Or if you get your spore...
Yeah.
And lean into buying yourself a setup.
So... He's in a really good spot right now because he can Terra out of being 4 times weak to ice. Yep. He keeps the multi-scale, heavy-duty boots. So he comes in, Terra normals immediately, Dragon Dances up, then Extreme Speed, Earthquake,
Fire Punch?
Fire Punch is very popular. Yeah,
okay.
Fire Punch. Yep. Sometimes he's Terra Fire. That's another really common one I've seen.
Ooh, that's sweet.
Yeah, because there's a lot of sun right now. So a lot of sun boosted. And he also loses his
because there's a lot of sun because of... Protosynthesis, which is obviously the new ability for the Scarlet half. You know, there's Quark Drive, which is electric terrain, gives you the boost to whatever your stat is, the most prevalent, and then in mine it's when you're in the sun, so mine's a lot easier to use. So the Scarlet Paradox Pokemon are kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
I have one quick shout out after this one, but this one. Roaring Moon, the Dark Dragon. Hydreigon, numero dos.
Yeah,
should be number 1 because he's better.
Paradox Elements from Scarlet version. This dude is off. First of all, he looks great.
He looks amazing.
The wings are finally
potentially the best design in the game. Potentially, it's got to be a top 5, right?
It's one of my favorites if it wasn't for Grafai, but I'm biased. I like monkeys.
I
also really like Salamence. That's my Dragonite. Is Salamence. Yeah. So like, even though he's got derpy wings, so does Dragonite. They're better now. But Roaring Moon has great wings, and he's got such great potential. 139 physical attack. He's got 119 speed. Dark Dragon.
Which they always Terra out of.
Yeah, so Terra Flying is everywhere.
Yep.
Terra Flying is the way to go.
Yep.
Because he gets acrobatics. So if there's a new item called the Booster Energy. So with the Quark Drive and Photosynthesis, if you don't have the electric terrain or you don't have the sun, you can have this once per game consumable item, Booster Energy. So if you switch out, you lose whatever buffs you got from it, and you can't get it back. It's like a berry. But now you don't have an item. And he gets a physical move called Acrobatics.
120 base.
120 base when you don't have an item on. Physical flying move, 139 base attack, and now it's stab flying because you're Terra Flying. So now you're doing the triple stab build. You could go, mine is Dragon Dark Flying, yours is...
Dragon Dark Ground.
Dragon Dark Ground.
With Dragon Dance.
But you are still Terra Flying.
Yes, just to get out of getting hit by super effective fighting.
Yep. While still, yeah.
And the other thing is, he's actually really good at shutting down like passive Pokemon and tanks because he's got Taunt and
he's
Roost.
So fast.
He's got Taunt and Roost and Dragon Dance. I'm seeing that a lot. Taunt, Roost, Dragon Dance, and then one attack. Maybe it's Terra. Maybe it's Acrobatics. Maybe it's Crunch. Crunch is a very popular option because nothing's immune to it.
So, what's the secret to Roaring Moon? His physical defense. I think it's like a base 70. That's his weakness. And before he Terras, he is weak to Mach Punch.
Yes.
After he Terras, now he's weak to Ice. He's still weak to Ice. So he's weak to Ice Shard.
Yep.
So that would be my secret, would be hit him on the physical side and especially look for those priority moves. Extreme Speed.
Yeah.
Extreme speed blows through this guy. Another secret is that if you are running even a supportive Pokemon like Grimmsnarl, if they're not Terra yet, if they're still Dark and Dragon ×4, his Spirit Break one-shots with 0 investment into Grimmsnarl's attack. Grimmsnarl will just one-shot with a Spirit Break because it's stab, and then it's times 4 super effective.
Right.
With that, we've calced it out. It one-shots every time. He's super, super squishy on the physical side. So that's the secret to Roaring Moon. You have to try to hit him on that side. If you try to hit him on the special side, he might actually just be able to shrug it.
Right. Last Pokemon I want to shout out for 3v3s is Garganacl. This is the kind of premier stall Pokemon right now.
The Salt Mine. So this is the Minecraft Pokemon.
Yeah.
I don't like the design, but I like the design space. Like, I like what they tried to do. And I get it. They're trying to appease to, like, your son's generation
right.
with Minecraft. But I like what the Pokemon does from a competitive design, because, wow, he's an annoying tank, and that's right up my alley.
They always... Okay, so first of all, he's got Purifying Salt, so you can't be statused, and this is different than Golden Go.
Status conditions.
Yes, can't be poisoned, sleep, paralysis, the list goes on. You know what those are. Though he's completely immune to those, and he takes reduced damage from ghosts, and ghost Pokemon are really popular right now. They always run Iron Press, or Iron Defense and Body Press.
Yep, the tried and true.
They're especially defensive.
Yep.
Salt Cure, which is a tick damage move. It's a rock type move, but it does I think an 1/8 of your HP at the end of the turn.
Basically, it's like the old Dynamax moves that had the tick damage, like Volcalith or Vine Lash.
Yep, but if they're a water or a steel type, it breaks them down to 1/4 of their HP at the end of it.
Yeah, it either does an 1/8 or 1/4. So, yeah, he takes less damage from Ghost, does more to water and steel, because, again, salt.
Salt, yeah.
So, it's a weird space to be in, but competitively, it makes him really good. Water's A tier.
They gave him Recover for some reason.
And then Ghost and Steel are S tier.
Yeah.
And he has Recover, and he's super tanky, and he's just pure rock.
Yeah, and he always Terras into Fairy.
Yeah.
So Golden Go is actually a pretty good matchup against him.
Yeah. So a thing to hit him with, regardless whether he stays rock or goes to Fairy, Steel.
Right.
That's the answer.
Yep,
that's the
Steel's
secret.
answer.
That's our secret tech. If you're, day one looking at the meta, make sure you have a really solid Steel type or a couple Steel type moves on your squad to take care of him. Because if he tears Fairy, you're still popping him.
Yeah.
So
that's going to do it for the 3v3 side of it. We are going to refill our coffees. We'll come right back. Bro. Yeah, I'm out too.
We got to get some.
Yep. All right. We'll be back. We'll talk about VGC, early meta threats. See you there. We rally around the family with a pocket full of shit. Anyway, we're back. We're here.
VGC. Couple of these are going to be the same. The big thing VGC right now is that, I mean, if Terras are hard to predict in 3s, they're 10 times harder in VGC. People have been doing some wild stuff. I think they're just kind of throwing spaghetti, seeing what sticks still. The meta's only, 2 weeks. It's still super early.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And VGC, I feel like, is kind of more known for that. I think the level of creativity in VGC is a lot.
The ceiling's higher.
Yeah. You see a lot more creative strats and stuff because of the amount of Pokemon on the field. Mm-hmm. It's not just like, I'm going to set up on this Pokemon that I have backed into a corner. That doesn't really happen in VGC as much.
Yeah. So, obviously, Tailwind still super popular. Trick Room's popular. Weather super popular. But the big thing about weather is that it's like 90% of the weather you see is only just one weather. It's all sun.
Okay.
Because of photosynthesis. I've seen a couple of Obamas. I've seen like 1 or 2 T-Tars. I don't think I've seen a Hippo yet. I have seen 1 Pelipper other than my own. But it's pretty sparse. Not only are most of the weather sun, most of the teams you fight are weather.
Isn't that?
So sun. So at probably 40 to 50% of the teams you'll fight have a Torkoal on them.
Yeah.
He's like, I would guess the most used, but then Pikalytics, I'm like, oh, okay, he's close, but he's not the top.
Yeah. So we are going to break down some of the top threats. We're going to have Pikalytics going on here in the background while we kind of talk about these, give you guys a little bit of a visual, because this kind of stuff is not accessible in 3v3. That's why we didn't use it before.
Yep.
But we're going to talk about a lot of the threats. And the first threat we got to talk about, the most used Pokemon in the format, that would be Fluttermane. Mm-hmm. The little Mischievous.
Mischievous that could. This is essentially if Miss Mages got an evolution she deserved. It's essentially where our stats are here. 135 special attack, 135 special defense, 135 speed. Holy cow, none of the other stats matter because that's S plus.
Yeah.
But, just like Roaring Moon, she does have the same weakness on the physical side. And she is naturally, she's Ghost Fairy.
Yep.
She is naturally weak to Shadow Sneak. Not Sucker Punch.
Not Sucker Punch.
Neutral to Sucker Punch.
Also weak to Bullet Punch.
Weak to Bullet Punch. So that's the trade-off.
Scizor stands. Rise up. So, this
Dazzling
Pokemon,
Gleam is great because it's a spread move. Shadow Ball's great.
Do you see these spec'd out more to raise special attack or speed?
I would say probably the most that I've seen. I mean, it's a mix, right? People are doing everything, but if I had to guess, based on just like my memory, right? Like, I'd probably have to say the special attack is what gets the boost.
Right, because they can run it in like a Trick Room. 135 is insane, so...
Yeah. And then, but I have been also seeing a lot of Mystical Fire.
Which would make sense. It's in the sun. It's special defense shredding, which makes her specialty even stronger. I was thinking, because as you can see here, yes, it does get access to Icy Wind. That's a fun tech Trick Room.
Oh, there it is.
Mystical Fire right here. Only 2% usage, but I do like that offensive capability. If you're going to go straight offense, you just go Protect, Dazzling Gleam, Shadow Ball, and a Mystical Fire. If you're running a more bulky team, Mystical Fire really fits on that build. So, insane stab combination, 33%. Look out for Flutter Mane. Have your Bullet Punch users, your Shadow Sneak users have an answer for Flutter Mane because...
Yeah, Steel types have a real big spot in this meta. We'll talk about it.
This thing can tear you up. So, we'll move on to someone super familiar at 30.96% usage. It's Amoonguss.
Yeah, so we've got a couple right here that we'll talk about real quickly, but all the returning mons. So we have Amoonguss, Arcanine, and then down a little bit is also Grimmsnarl, and then below that would be Indeedee. So all of these returning. These support mons are great. They've always been great in every VGC format, even when the Ubers. We've talked about this before, so of course they're going to be great when there's no Ubers at all.
Yeah, so, and no Dynamax.
No Dynamax. So Amoonguss has Rage Powder. It's got Spore. It also has really good moves like Pollen Puff to heal your allies or Clear Smog to get rid of stat boost. So it's got a haze that's stab damage, and it can't miss.
Interestingly enough, Clear Smog has overtaken Pollen Puff.
Hey, there it is.
From Generation.
That's been my old move.
Because in Generation 8, it was Pollen Puff over Clear Smog, and then even
the difference
Giga
between 70 and 80 is minimal, so you can go either way with defenses or mix.
Yeah.
And then Arcanine, he's the premier Intimidate user in the format. You can go bulky, you can go physical, you can go special. You get Snarl, gets a lot of good moves. Grimmsnarl, he gets Prankster and Parting Shot. We've talked about him. You can go check out our set guide. Then below that would be Indeedee, who has the Psychic Surge, and we'll get to her in a minute. So, other than that, the other big returning guy in the room is Torkoal. So, Torkoal is insane, right? Like
23% usage, so 1 out of every 5 teams.
I would have guessed, I would have guessed that it would have been like 50%. Like, I'm not even trying to exaggerate. Yeah. It's like 40-50 is what it feels like on the ladder right now. So, he's great. So, the old way to do it was obviously Eruption, because it's, it's like the Kyogre thing. When you have it, use it. But he's slow.
Yeah.
Heat Wave is really good. He also gets really good moves like Body Press with a 140 base defense. He gets Yawn. He can Solar Beam. He can Lava Plume to proc some different fire type abilities that we have in the meta now. There's so many options with this poke, but I really like Yawn a lot. Yeah. Yawn is like my go-to for him.
He, if you see here, common partners.
Everyone.
He does have Flutter Mane. Flutter Mane has access to Trick Room.
41%. See, look at that. 41% of the time that they bring a Torkoal, they also bring a Flutter Mane.
Yep, Flutter Mane, Roaring Moon, Iron Hands, Brute Bonnet.
Brute Bonnet's great, actually. Even though it's a grass type, it's actually really good in the sun. Because
all users of photosynthesis.
Well, yeah, because Brute Bonnet also gets Synthesis.
Yeah. So insane healing.
Yeah.
Bad typing, but still really bulky.
I Terra into Dark for him, because then he has the base 127 Sucker Punch.
Oh, okay. All right, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
So, yeah, Torkoal is everywhere. You have to be able to take care of Torkoal. So, the way to deal with Amoonguss is, obviously, fire, flying, Those are the two big ones.
Can do Psychic.
You can do Psychic. That's actually a big one that I wanted to mention, sort of at the end, but we'll talk about it here.
Yeah.
Because Clodsire is so popular.
Really?
Clodsire is poison and ground, and it is super bulky, and it has Unaware and Water Absorb.
Yeah.
So two really, really good abilities. Unaware is great. I've been using Unaware personally on my squads. He's great as Assault Vest. He's great at offensive support. He gets Yawn. He's really bulky with Unaware. And he's weak. He's grounded poison. So he's not weak to grass the way that Opar is. Traditional Quagsire.
Yeah.
Or Gastrodon. So when we're speccing for that, we can't hit him. So the Psychic actually comes in handy. Ice is still really good, but Psychic is actually, in my mind, kind of a tier up in VGC right now because of the prevalence of poison types.
Yeah.
Like, it actually really does matter.
Yeah, especially, Amoonguss is the biggest one.
Yeah, Amoonguss is kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
I've been seeing a lot of Amoonguss. So I have been seeing a lot of Arcanine. The way to deal with Arcanine is obviously kind of the same way we'll deal with Torkoal. You have to turn off the sun.
Yeah.
You have to have a way to clear the weather or turn on your own weather, Cloud 9. You have to lean into it and have a poke on your squad that can use the sun against them. So that's what a lot of people have been doing is they'll bring their own photosynthesis mon. And then fight fire with fire, sort of. Not literally fire type, but yeah. And then, so Torkoal and Arcanine are big things to deal with. That's not water, obviously rock and ground, because they're both pure fire. And hit them both on the special side. Torkoal's really weak on the special side, and Arcanine has Intimidate, so he's weaker on the special side. They might spec into that, be a special defensive Arcanine with Intimidate, so they're good on both sides. You still want to be hitting on the special because that Intimidate is gonna matter more than whatever special bulk he has.
One thing I want to say about Torkoal is that on paper, interestingly enough, it stacks up well against Arcanine and Amoonguss with his access to Earth Power.
Really well.
But it's slower than both. So
he gets Spored, he gets Snarled.
Yeah, so it makes sense how he's kind of here underneath those two.
Yep.
I just thought that was like a really.
And then the way to deal with Grimmsnarl, he's Dark and Fairy. You can hit him with Dark.
Mm-hmm.
But
no, not Dark.
Or you can hit him with Fairy, excuse me.
Yep, Fairy.
But a big thing to deal with him, the best way to deal with him, I think, is to hit him with Steel.
Yep.
And he's weaker on the physical side than special, but only barely. So I would try to target the physical side. So again, Bullet Punch, Iron Head, stuff like that. The typical Steel stuff. So Steel-type Pokemon are great here. So next up is basically, besides Chi-Yu, the next biggest offensive threat in the meta. Like, by far. Like, again, I'm surprised these stats are so low. But Chi-Yu. Chi-Yu is the new boogeyman on Campus Zero. Let me tell you what. This fish is a problem. So, I don't know if you saw our video this week.
I did see the video.
Chi-Yu's a problem. Like, how many Torkoal Chi-Yu was in that video alone? I think it was like half the video was Torkoal Chi-Yu teams.
Yeah.
So, Chi-Yu's really, really good. So, her... I think it's Beads of Ruin is the name of hers, but they all have like a something of ruin. I think hers is Beads of Ruin.
Yes, it is. It is.
And it shreds special defense of everyone on the field except for herself. So basically she has armor shred for her 135 special attack. See the difference? See a similarity between her and Fluttermane?
And look at the stab combination of Dark and
Fire.
Dark
and Fire. So yeah, Dark Pulse. I've been running Snarl. She's got a great Snarl. Heat Wave is so good with Torkoal in the sun. Heat waves.
Yeah, the dots are connecting for me right now.
It's crazy. She does not have Eruption, but Heat Wave.
Thank God it doesn't. Have
but Heat Wave is the same. But so the weakness to Chi-Yu is obviously the physical side, but 80's still respectable.
Yeah, 80's
120. She don't try to go special.
Yeah,
she's actually legitimately bulky on the special side.
Yeah, 120.
Her weakness is actually. Normally, we'd be like, hey, this is like a legit strength. This is an A+ tier speed at 100. But it's actually a weakness in this meta. There are enough things in the meta right now that can get up to 101 speed. Or the equivalent, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially, Tailwind is a lot more prevalent in VGC. So that 100 speed is a lot of times her downfall.
And you know what's interesting? This is something that I've kind of mentioned to you guys in our group chat is... I think we're gonna see a speed creep this
Yes.
game. Already, this
It's
game is
faster than
faster.
8th gen.
This game is faster. Like 90 speed last gen used to be pretty good, and that's not gonna cut it. This game.
Now you want like. The 80 to 90 used to be like our B tier.
Yeah.
Now that's like slipping to like B minus.
Yeah,
category.
The 100 is really going to be the bar, I think, especially on
So
offensive
Chiu's
teams.
really, really fast.
Yeah.
But not quite fast enough. That's why Fluttermane's more. But Chiu's insane. Really, really strong. So beyond that is her brother, Chen Pao.
Chen Pao's
great. 135 speed. Again, there's this magic number.
Yeah, 135.
And then 120 attack. The thing has insane move pool coverage, 0. The thing has stab ice shard and stab sucker punch. And on top of that, it's already fast as crap. And it has Sacred Sword. Ice Spinner is the new physical ice move. It gets rid of terrain effects. You can... this thing is insane. It's really, really good. And he has the other side. So Chi-Yu shreds special defense of everybody else. So armor shred for special.
Yeah.
This dude armor shreds on physical. So he has a base, you have -1 defense against this thing with dual stab priority dark ice. Like, Weavile was S tier. This dude is S+.
Insane stab combination. I feel like I've been saying that all video, and that's what this is. These are the big dogs. The big stab combinations, the big attack stats.
Yep. And then Roaring Moon and Dragonite, same as before, kind of, but a little bit different.
Yeah. We're seeing the same flying acrobatics, Dragon Claw, Dragon Dance. Like I said, in the 3v3 format, anything that can Dragon Dance is insane right now. Tailwind, Crunch.
That's the big... So this is the difference between Roaring Moon and Singles and Singles and VGC. If they Terra in VGC, whereas in Singles, I feel like a lot of times they are the Terra.
Yeah.
In VGC, they don't always, because in VGC, he's part Dark, which means he's immune to Prankster.
Okay, yeah.
I've been seeing a lot of people not Terra. So that's where my reference earlier in our podcast about Grimmsnarl coming in with the Spirit Break, that's where that comes in relevant.
Okay.
Because then you just one-shots.
Yeah.
So... But again, he can also set up him as well as the Iron Jugulus, which is the Paradox Hydreigon. They can also set up Tailwind. So be prepared for that some people might try to throw you for a curveball.
Dude, Jugulus is so ugly.
Yeah. If Roaring Moon does Terra, it is flying also.
Yeah. We're seeing that like in both formats.
I've been seeing some Iron Head.
Yep. I can see that.
I'm surprised Crunch isn't the topmost move. In my anecdotal experience, every time they always have Crunch.
Yeah.
They always have Crunch.
Yeah, and you see it's only 6% usage, which is crazy.
In comparison.
Honestly, like, when you look at these numbers, there's nothing gaudy here. Right?
No, nothing.
Right? Because, like...
It's pretty balanced.
That's how you can tell the Pokemon's, like, really well-rounded.
Yes.
Whereas, like, okay...
He just does everything well.
Let's go to Amoonguss, and you're going to see 28%
28% take Spore.
Which is also surprising that...
It's so low.
It's not higher. Yeah. But, like, 20%... 28%, pardon me.
So let's talk about that other dragon, your fave.
All right, so we got the D-Knight.
The D-Knight.
It's looking like pretty much the same thing. We got some Iron Head usage here. So
the D-Knights always, 100% of the time. So I'm not surprised that it's at the top of the usage. Look at that, almost 50% of the time is extreme speed. That is insane stats.
You called it, man. You called it. I wasn't...
the Terra Normal extreme speed. I told you from day one. I was like, bro, this might be a thing, and you're like, really? Oh yeah, and Jake too. Arcanine for people that don't know.
Yeah,
he's great as a Terra Normal.
Are you seeing more? Well, okay, you don't know off the top of your head, but do you think you're seeing more inner focus because it's VGC or multi-scale?
Multi-scale. They are always multi-scale.
You think multi-scale?
From what I've seen and can tell, it's always multi-scale. It's still just a better way to go. Yeah, you could go inner focus for no flinch, but here's the big thing.
No intimidate as well.
No intimidate. Here's the big thing here. He has extreme speed.
He does.
But he has base 80 speed.
Yes.
So in a head-to-head matchup, if you get him low, let's say below half, right? Dragonite's below half health. And he's not a super bulk set. He's just the standard go fast, hit hard, right?
Right.
You're like, well, I'm not worried that I'm low. I got extreme speed. This is where it becomes an interesting matchup. My boy comes in here. Arcanine has a base 95 speed. Which means if we extreme speed and he extreme speed, our goes first. So I actually showed that off. Somebody quit before I could actually click it, but I showed that off in the video earlier this week where Arcanine cleaned up or at the end, they had a Chenpao and a Dragonite in the red. Remember that part of the video?
Yep. Oh, I remember.
And that was that checkmate situation because, you know, we're both the same priority. And even though his was Terra and whatever, and his would be stronger, mine would go first. And and it's still base 80. It's going to be strong enough with a max adamant Jake, or it was Jolly, but max attack Jake was definitely strong enough to pick up that kill.
Are you seeing a lot of Terra normal Arcanines, or do they not Terra that often?
A lot of Arcanines aren't Terra-ing. I've been the only Arcanine that's been Terra-ing. But again, it's like the Incineroar thing. Right. A lot of people aren't running this crazy offensive.
That's true. That's true. That's adjusted.
My Jake is max attack. My dog goes fast, hits hard.
Yeah.
A lot of people are doing. A lot of people are doing Snarl, so it makes sense at 22%.
Yeah.
So yeah, Iron Hands is a decent amount because he has a really, 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 really strong. Oh, yep, top of the meta. I was gonna say really strong fake out.
Yeah, 140 base attack.
41%. So that So you
and these almost always get the boost to their attack. Like there's no other way to go.
You have to really try, and the only other option would be your defense. It literally is always either attack or like the 1% of the time would be defense. But yeah, he's got a great move pool, great everything. So yeah, let's talk about the last one in the pool of returning mons is the Indeedee.
All right, Indeedee. So Indeedee, I already know where we're going with this.
Yeah, take it away, brother. This is all you.
So
look, top of the list. 49%.
So one of the things with Indeedee, it did lose expanding force.
Correct. So there's two things that it has.
Follow me. Psychic Surge.
Okay, so explain what we got here.
So Psychic Surge sets Psychic Terrain. So anything touching the ground cannot be attacked by a priority move. Well, they can't be like priority taunted. They
correct.
From the other side.
From the other side, you can use priority that affect your own side, but you can't cross the field with a priority move of any status, any physical, any special, anything. Nothing can cross the field priority. Yep. So it's really strong, but it's field wide.
And then I do got to mention the Psychic here. You talked about it actually being pretty good. It did lose expanding force, however, I think Psychic's good enough because of that single target.
Unfortunately, there is no spread Psychic move for it to have, so you have to go single target.
Yeah.
Expanding force was that spread move.
But, pick up KOs against...
Correct.
Well, you do big damage to certain things, but you also pick up KOs on things like Amoonguss and Iron Hands. And then...
The threat here is that Dark is more prevalent in VGC than it's ever been. There are so many Dark... Like, we just covered... Chi-Yu, Chien-Pao, Roaring Moon, not to mention there's Brute Bonnet, like Grimmsnarl, there's just dark, and they're all immune to Psychic.
Yeah.
So it's risky. I personally like the Dazzle because it's a spread move, but Psychic is still great. I also want to give a special shout out, I think she gets it too, it'd be Psy-Shock, because then you're hitting on the physical side.
Yeah, yep.
She does get screens. Great mon.
But
I like Heal Pulse. Heal Pulse is actually one of my favorite moves that she gets.
So talk about Psychic Terrain, why it's important, and then there's another Pokemon in the Psychic
the other
realm
side of this coin
that you were kind of alluding to.
Yeah. From what I've seen anecdotally, I feel like there's two ways to do the stopping priority. And then when the meta kind of has come out and come to fruition, it was like, oh, it looks like I was kind of right. The stats don't really back up what I've seen, but it feels like about 50% of the... Maybe about... I said about 55-45 to 40-60 kind of. It's more Uraraka. It's more Indeedee, excuse me.
Yeah.
But for Farigiraf with Armor Tail has actually been a decent mon.
So let's see. So
there he is. Hey! There he is.
8.9% usage.
That's top 30.
And Trick Room. Okay.
Hey, okay. So what did I say before? The two sets that I've been seeing of Farigiraf.
Trick Room and Nasty Plot.
Yep. Trick Room, Nasty Plot, or dual screens.
Yep.
So
also gets access to
Ally Switch is great. So this thing is insane. we're actually working on a set guide for it right now. We have the sets written. We're about to be publishing it soon. Stay tuned for that. 120 HP is
thick.
Yeah, like it's insane. I'm speechless. Like that is beyond tanky. That's stratosphere level of bulky. So 70 for both defenses is not that insane, but the 120 sort of makes up for it. So one of the two routes you can go that I've been seeing in VGC is either, like I said, the dual screen set because he's super bulky and he gets armor tail, so he stops priority and he just sets up dual screens for the squad and he's just like this bulky support mon. The other one was Trick Room, Nasty Plot. So he'll set up a Trick Room, then he'll Nasty Plot in your face, and then he just has 2 attack moves to just start blowing holes in your ship.
So, before we wrap this up, let's talk a little more about Farigiraf. Why would you run Farigiraf over Indeedee?
Expanding Force got nerfed, so the only Pokemon in the entire game right now that has Expanding Force is one Pokemon, and that's Armor Rouge.
Okay.
Which can use it great, but he's the only one that gets it.
Yeah.
So, based on who they gave it out to, it's just a nerf to the move in general. The move is still the same, but nobody has it.
Yeah.
So, and then on top of that, Armor Tail doesn't stop you from doing priority things. It only stops you from being hit by them. So your team is blocked from priority, but you can still shoot them across to the enemy side. So it's a one-way wall, whereas Psychic Terrain is a two-way.
You can't. How many times have we how many times have we seen, and like you viewers and listeners, how many times have you had Psychic Terrain up from your Indeedee and then you click Fake Out and you're just like, come.
I forgot about it. Yeah. Armor Tail lets you get through that. So you protect your side while not hindering your own ability to potentially throw out. But you lose the Psychic Terrain boost of Psychic moves and Psychic Terrain. So it's a trade-off.
Right.
And again, there's no Follow Me, so that's obviously why you see Indeedee is the more popular. Terrain is obviously a good control because obviously you can... the way Quark Drive works or Photosynthesis is that you only get those buffs without the energy booster. You only get those buffs while the terrain or sun is active.
Yeah.
So if you change the terrain, they lose their Quark Drive.
Yep.
So terrain control is important. So
right.
there's pros and cons to both.
And I think that's one reason we're not seeing more iron Pokemon is because you're attached at the hip to Pincurchin.
And Pincurchin is terrible.
Yeah, which is not good.
You can use it, but he's terrible.
But to have to take up a big section of your team for Pincurchin,
or you have to actually have the move Electric Terrain and then have somebody dedicated to set that.
And it's just like why
it's more work than just bringing Torkoal.
Yeah, it's like clicking Swords Dance or Dragon Dance when it's like that stuff that you don't really get away with that kind of stuff in VGC. Things need to happen fast. They need to happen now.
Yeah.
You can't have multiple turns to your setup.
You have to set it up yourself.
Right.
You have to proactively set it up. So those are the big threats. Just a couple of special shout outs. I want to shout out, obviously, like we said, all the weather Pokemon. Penelope, Tyranitar, Hippowdon, technically Sandspit, Sandaconda, and then Abomasnow.
Yep.
Those are the weather starter abilities in the game at the moment. Koraidon, Miraidon, pending because they're banned at the moment. But then on top of that, Caesar does really well. Another really, really powerful Pokemon in both VGC and 3v3, but I've been using VGC in our Rain team, is Palafin.
Oh, yeah.
So the problem is you have to switch out to activate Zero to Hero, to then transform to his Hero form, but it's 100 base speed, which is good.
Yep.
On 160 base physical attack. And then he has Jet Punch, which is a 60 base physical water move with priority. So basically it's a 60 base power Aqua Jet instead of 40 base. And that 20 base difference matters. And it's a punching move, which means punching gloves can be activated.
Yeah.
You can Entrainment Iron Fist to him with Pawmon.
Yeah.
And now he's got Iron Fist boosted. Jet Punch, Drain Punch, Ice Punch. His Ice Punch, I was telling him the other day, I did 87% to a Dragonite. A Dragonite accidentally switched in on my Ice Punch. Did 87% through the multi-scale.
Yeah.
Wow.
See, and that's one thing. I don't think Palafin's is good in 3v3s because, like I said, turns are valuable in that format.
With VGC, you can get away with it because you can fake out, you can protect, you can Rage Powder or Follow Me.
But in
Parting Shot,
in
Intimidates.
3v3, you almost always have to Choice Scarf it
Yeah.
to get that flip turn off. And then, like, okay, turn 1, you're always flip turning. So it's like the most predictable strategy. And
they
you
just
have
throw
to
out
waste a turn.
They can throw out a Water Absorber or Storm Drain, and you don't go anywhere. You don't switch.
And you have to take something on your team has to take damage just for you to activate Zero Hero. So it's not a good trade off.
Yeah,
he's good.
But in VGC, you got a lot of tanks that can like for instance, I've been pairing him like you could pair him with like Brute Bonnet.
Yeah,
Brute Bonnet could come in, especially if the rain's up. Brute Bonnet could come in and shrug basically any attack for forever.
Palafin is good, but I can tell you with confidence, 100%, I've never lost to Palafin in 3v3s.
Not in 3s. No, in VGC, I like him, though.
Yeah.
VGC, I like him a lot. I also really, really want to shout out... he wasn't on the list high up on the stats, but I have been seeing him a lot. Just like in 3v3s, Goldango.
Yeah.
Because his special signature move is called Make It Rain. And it's a steal move, and it's a spread move. So...
That's Palafin making it rain.
No, Goldango.
Not Palafin.
Yeah.
Goldango. Anyway.
And then obviously having his what's his ability called? Something gold.
Good as gold.
Good as gold is insanely good. It's even better in VGC.
It's insanely good as gold.
It's even better in VGC because there's Prankster.
Yeah.
There's Prankster everywhere with Grafii and Murkrow. There's Sableye, and obviously the boy, the big one, Grimmsnarl.
Yeah.
And now the Parting Shot has been given to most of those Pokemon, not to mention Scary Face, Thunder Wave, Taunt, etc., etc., etc. And
he doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
He just makes it rain.
He does not care about any of those. He's immune to every status category move.
Yeah.
So Goldango's a great shout. So those are the things to be wary of. Go check out our grassy terrain, where I actually fight most of those.
And our 3v3 vid.
Yeah.
Well, we're not talking about 3v3. But yeah, I think that covers everything, man. I hope that this kind of gets you guys ready for when Ranked opens up.
Yeah, hopefully this is a good...
If you're playing Showdown, now you know what to expect.
Initial 2 weeks in, nice little highlight of the key mons that we've been seeing so far in both formats.
Yeah. So that's going to do it. Once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in, for dropping likes, comments, subscribing, everything that you guys do. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We hope that this is a video we earned your subscription. Hit the big red button, hit the bell.
Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure that you comment down below. Let us know what you think of these highlight mons. Let us know if there's any highlight mons in either 3v3 or VGC respectively that you think we missed. Or comment on here and let us know what mons you also agree with or like on here. And if you're listening to this on Spotify, definitely give us that the big star rating,
but it has to be 5.
Yeah,
it can't be anything less than 5.
Dives.
Yeah, we want 5.
And go check out our YouTube also. And if you are watching on YouTube, definitely go check out our Spotify, where we will put up some extracurriculars. We have a couple episodes coming out pretty soon, going over the new items, abilities, and moves in the Paldea region. So be really excited for all of that. I just got punked by the new Covert Cloak.
on camera, too.
On camera, and I'm like, what? It glitched! And he messaged me later, he goes, bro, it's this Covert Cloak. I was like, what is a Covert Cloak?
Yeah.
So you get to see live. See, we're not hiding anything. We make mistakes all the time, too. Yeah, we're masters because we're old and we love this game. But we make mistakes, too, and it's fun. I kept it on camera intentionally. Dog on myself a little bit. Yeah. I make mistakes.
Got to. It's like that mouse.
So we learned the hard way.
Where we got smoked by Moushold on camera.
I have no idea what the Trico is going on.
All right, guys. We're going to get out of here. We're going to play Pokemon. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for supporting us. We'll catch you on the next one. Until then, I've been Zero.
And I'm Gym Leader Justin.
Council's adjourned.